Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our storytelling session with Miss Sonia. I'm your host, Prisha Moria. Miss Sonia is an educator who has taught children from elementary to high school level. She's an avid reader and writer by hobby. She believes that working with children is her life's purpose and considers herself fortunate enough to have a profession that allows herself to empower young children through teaching and writing. She's been a part of the Indian Naval Fraternity for over 2 decades and takes pride in it. She has conducted adult literacy sessions and communicative English classes for sailors' wives. She's also been given the opportunity to teach underprivileged children and has been inspired by how they are fighting through extremely harsh times with such determination and positivity. Miss Sonia writes mythological books containing moral values for children to keep them from separating from their roots and to make them a better person in the coming future. In all, she's a fantastic person with a dashing personality. Ma'am.
Thank you for your kind words, Prisha. And before we begin, I'd like to thank the Early Birds Club for giving me the opportunity of interacting with wonderful children like you through their portal. And I've been eagerly looking forward to this session, and I hope that it is as interesting and it is as engaging as I've envisioned it to be. So now you know a little about me, and I'd also like to know what kind of stories do you like listening to? Do you all like listening to stories? All of you? So what kind of stories do you like listening to? Can someone volunteer? Okay, tell me. Tell me what kind of stories.
I like the story about Jack and the Beanstalk.
Jack and the Beanstalk. Oh, lovely. What about you, Kalina? Do you like listening to stories?
Yes.
Yes. And which is your favorite story? Do you have a favorite story?
No, I love all the stories.
All the stories. And what kind? Fairy stories, mythological stories? What kind of stories?
All kinds.
What about you, Anahat?
I like historical stories.
Historical stories, wow. And Kathy, does Kathy like listening to stories as well?
Yeah.
Yes. And what about Mila? Mila? Madhura? Anyone?
I think Mila said she
right.
likes spiritual stories.
Oh, spiritual stories. That's beautiful. So you know what? When I was little like you all, I also loved listening to stories. And the best memories I have of my childhood were when I used to snuggle at bedtime. I used to snuggle with my grandmother, and she would narrate to me beautiful stories, mythological stories of kings and queens and warriors and brave soldiers. And do you know why we listen to stories at bedtime mostly? Can anyone think why? You know why? Because when the lights are out and when our eyes are closed, then we can give wings to our imagination. And we can close, when our eyes are closed, we can imagine the stories. It's like watching a movie in front of your eyes. And do you think imagination is good? How does imagination help us?
It helps us in creative thinking.
Very good, Prisha. It helps us to think in a creative way, and it helps us to, it encourages us to think positively. Now, if you're in a difficult situation, like we are in a difficult situation, the whole world is, going through this pandemic. And but if we imagine a better world, and if we imagine a better tomorrow, don't you think it'll lift our spirits a little and give us the courage to overcome the hardships that we are facing? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yes. Do you believe that? Do you believe that? Great. So yes, stories are very important to us. They teach us a lot. It's not only about entertainment, but they teach us a lot. They teach us a lot about our culture, our values. Values are our morals, our traditions. And can you tell me some values that we can learn from stories? Like I can tell you one. Kindness. We have a lot of stories about kindness. Can you think of something else? Compassion, honesty, telling the truth, and also respecting our elders. The first lesson which we learn, and our Indian tradition especially, they reiterated through their stories that we must all respect our elders. And that is the first story I'm going to narrate to you. It teaches us the importance of respecting our elders, our teachers, our gurus. Yes, gurus means your teachers. Now, for the benefit of those who are not very familiar with Indian mythology, I'll be sharing a few pictures. I'll be screen sharing with you so that you can visualize the story a little better. Now, the first story which I'm going to tell you is about Lord Ganesha. Lord Ganesha in Indian mythology is the god of wisdom and knowledge. He's the patron of arts and sciences. And this story tells us how his devotion and love for his parents got him the divine fruit of wisdom. I'm going to just share the screen with you so that you can see the first picture, and then when we can get rolling. Now, you all can see?
Yeah.
That's Lord Shiva, goddess Parvati, and that is a sage, Narada. Narada was a traveler. He was a musician. He was a storyteller, but also a mischief monger. Now, one day when Lord Shiva and goddess Parvati were resting in their home on Mount Kailasha. That's Mount Kailasha. It's a beautiful snow-covered mountain, and no one has ever been able to scale Mount Kailasha. It is still there in Tibet. Tibet is also known as the rooftop of the world. Yes? You know about that place? Do you know about Tibet? You can Google it later and see. So one day, while they were resting in their home, a sage, a saint, Narada, he appeared in front of Lord Shiva. Now, Narada could appear anywhere he wanted to. He had those divine powers. So he appeared before Lord Shiva and presented him a fruit, a ripe, juicy, golden mango. Now, Lord Shiva knew about Narada, about the sage. He knew that he was up to some mischief. So he asked Narada, so do you think you've come all the way to Mount Kailasha just to give me this mango? So Narada said, Lord, this is not an ordinary mango. This is a divine mango. This is a fruit of wisdom and knowledge. And I want you to give this fruit to one of your sons. Now, Lord Shiva had two sons, Ganesha and Kartikeya. While Ganesha had warrior-like qualities, Kartikeya had warrior-like qualities. Ganesha was a scholar. Now, tell me something. If there is a piece of chocolate or a piece of cake and you have to share it with your sibling, who helps you to share it? Your mother or your father? Or you just yank away that piece and run away? What do you do with it? If there is just one piece, what would you do? Would you share it with your sibling?
I would give my sibling the bigger half and I'll have the little half.
Oh, how sweet of you, Mila. That's so wonderful. So, goddess Parvati had two kids, Ganesha and Kartikeya. Now, she wanted to divide the fruit between the two because she wanted both her sons to attain divine knowledge and wisdom. But, like I told you, sage Narada was naughty. He was mischievous. He liked to put people to test. So he said, wait a minute. You cannot cut this fruit. You cannot divide this fruit. If it is cut or if it is shared, it's going to lose all its power. So you have to give it to either Ganesha or Kartikeya. So when these two boys, they heard this, they started arguing. And since Kartikeya was a warrior at heart, he was brave and courageous, he thought that he deserved it more than Ganesha. So both of them started arguing and both of them wanted to prove that they are superior. Now, that was a problem. Lord Shiva decided to put an end to the argument and fight and said, all right, let the sage Narada decide whom to give the divine fruit to. So sage Narada said, well, in that case, I would give this fruit to someone who can circle the earth 3 times and come back to Mount Kailasha. Whoever does that and whoever wins in this race would get the divine fruit. Now, as soon as Kartikeya heard this, what do you think he would do? He was a warrior. I told you he was a warrior. He was brave and he was fearless. What could he do? Can you think? Can you imagine? Can anyone imagine?
He started.
Yes, Yajlan? Tell me.
What, ma'am?
What do you think would Kartikeya do? He was brave. He was a warrior. So what would he do with the fruit? He wanted it so bad. So without even listening to sage Narada, he sat on his divine mount. Now, all the Hindu gods and goddesses have divine mounts. Yes. So Kartikeya's divine mount was the peacock. And Lord Ganesha's divine mount was a tiny little mouse. So Kartikeya, he sat on his peacock, and before sage Narada could even complete his sentence, he flew away to take the first round across the world. Well, our dear Ganesha, with his pot belly and his slow-moving mount, knew that there was not a chance that he would win this competition. So he had to think something quick. You either win if you're brave or you win with your wisdom. So he wanted to win with his wisdom. So he kept standing and he kept thinking. Now, Goddess Parvati told Ganesha, look, Kartikeya has already gone on his divine mountain. You're just standing here and wasting your time. Why don't you join him? So he just kept quiet. And by the time Kartikeya completed one round of the earth and came on Mount Kailasha, and he saw that Ganesha was still standing there. So he made fun of Ganesha. He said, why don't you take part in the competition? Are you scared of me? Have you already given up? Oh, I'm not going to be happy winning this race. No one is competing against me. And saying that, he flew away on his peacock to take the second round. Now, our little Ganesha with his pot belly, he moved slowly towards his parents, and he stood in front of his parents and bowed his head and started and told his parents that I'm going to circle you because for me, you are my world. You are my universe. I love you so much. By the time Ganesha had started doing that, Kartikeya came back again and he saw that Ganesha is still on Mount Kailasha. He knew that there was no way Ganesha would win the fruit. And he did a little victory dance and then flew away on his peacock. Lord Ganesha completed 3 rounds of his parents. He completed the 3 rounds and stood in front of his parents. He bowed his head in reverence. Reverence means respect. And Lord Shiva knew that for Ganesha, the outside world held no charm. His heart was full of love and devotion for his to Ganesha, and he was very angry. He said, this is not fair. This is not fair. I should be the one getting this fruit. I am the one who has completed.
Sonia auntie, I think your voice buffered for a bit. Can you go back 1 or 2 sentences and start there?
All right.
Thank you.
So when Kartikeya came back, is it okay, Shreya? Can you hear me?
Yeah, now it's good.
Fine.
Okay. So when Kartikeya came back, he saw that Lord Shiva was giving the divine fruit of wisdom and knowledge to Ganesha, and he felt that it was unfair, and he felt bad, and he felt that Ganesha had cheated him, and he felt that his parents had been partial towards Ganesha. But then Lord Shiva, he explained to Kartikeya why Lord Shiva had chosen Ganesha to get that divine fruit. Now, tell me something. Who do you think are our first teachers? Who do you think are the first teachers we get in life? Our parents are our first teachers. Yes. And that feeling of respect and that feeling of love and devotion, who had it in their heart, in his heart? It was Lord Ganesha. For Lord Ganesha, there was nothing more important in the world.
My guru is my teacher.
Your guru is your teacher. That's lovely. That's lovely. So this first story teaches us a very valuable lesson, that no matter what happens, we must always respect our elders, our teachers, our gurus. It's a part of our traditions. Yes. And whoever does that, God blesses that person the most. Whoever has love and respect and devotion in their heart for their parents, they always receive a lot of blessings from God. Yes. Now, see, although Kartikeya was also a warrior and he had beautiful qualities, yet when he heard about the competition, he just wanted to get the divine fruit at any cost. And when he did not win, he started getting feelings like jealousy, anger, resentment. What is resentment? It is a bitterness which we carry in our hearts. So he felt all these feelings. Now, we all have weaknesses. Yes, are we perfect in any way? Are we perfect? No, I'm not perfect. We all have weaknesses. Yes, but what can we do? We can just try to overcome these weaknesses slowly and steadily, one step at a time. What we can do is we can make a small goal for ourselves. For example, I have a poor handwriting, or I'm not good at reading, or I'm not good at comprehending passages. So can I improve in one day? Even if I tried, even if I sat and wrote pages after pages the whole night, would I improve? Would I improve in one day? No, not at all. So I can just set a small target. Anthony is really, he believes that no one can improve in one day. So sweet. So we can all set a small goal, a small target for ourselves and achieve that target. And then we can move on to the next target. Now, for achieving anything in life, we need two things, very important. One, confidence in our abilities. And second, the feeling of self-worth. Yes, what is self-worth? Self-worth means the value that we place on ourselves. If we believe that we are good people and we deserve good things in life, we will attract good things. But if we have a low self-esteem and if we think that we don't deserve good things and we are not that good, we will always attract negativity into our lives. And do we want to do that? No. We might sometimes think that, oh, I'm not good enough. Oh, I'm not pretty enough. Oh, but I'm not intelligent enough. All these things make us less confident of our abilities. So we must have confidence, like Lord Ganesha. He had confidence that he is going to win the competition with his what? Wisdom and with his intelligence. I'll show you another picture. I'll just screen share with you one more. And you can see this. That's Kartikeya. You all can see? He's whizzing past everyone on his mount, the peacock. And what is Lord Ganesha doing? He's standing in front of his parents. See? With love and with devotion. Now, I'll tell you another story that will tell you how important it is for us to have a feeling of self-worth. Now, this story is from the epic Ramayana. You all have heard about Ramayana? It's the greatest Indian epic. Yes? What is an epic? Can you tell me? What is an epic? Does anyone know? All right, I'll tell you. An epic is a story that is written in the form of a poem. Okay, so the Ramayana has 24,000 verses. It's a poem which has 24,000 verses. It was written by Rishi Valmiki, and it is a story of, it's a beautiful story of King Rama, who was the ruler of which kingdom? Tell me. Can anyone tell me?
Ayodhya.
Ayodhya. Ayodhya was the capital. The kingdom was Kosala. Kosala, and the capital was Ayodhya. Now, when Lord Rama wanted to cross the ocean to reach Lanka to fight against the demon king Ravan, Ravan had abducted Sita. He had carried away Lord Rama's wife forcefully. He had abducted Sita and he had taken Sita to Lanka. Now, Lord Rama wanted to cross the bridge, cross the ocean, and for that they had to build a bridge over the ocean. And who helped Lord Ram in this? The mighty monkey army of King Sugriv. Now, they started building the bridge bit by bit, slowly. And the monkeys, they used to pull out big boulders, big stones, rocks, and cut and chisel them into shape and then throw them into the ocean. So this process was long and arduous and excruciating. It was very tiring. But what gave them the confidence? They had the confidence that they could help Lord Rama to reach Lanka because they had a lot of love and devotion in their heart for Lord Rama. Now, this monkey army started this process of building a bridge across the mighty ocean to reach Lanka. I'll just show you a picture so that you can get an idea. Oh, what has happened? Joy. Joy, you. Shreya, I wanted to share the screen.
I think
Joy did
can you try again now?
Yes, yes. All right. Here we are. So, for all those who don't know about Indian mythology, that's Lord Rama. That's his brother Lakshman, Hanuman, and that's where they're building a bridge across the ocean to reach this beautiful golden kingdom of Lanka. Can you see the squirrel in this picture? Can you all see?
Yeah.
Yes? All right. So,
Yes.
okay. So, one day, Lord Rama, he was sitting on a giant rock and he was just looking and he was just admiring his soldiers, his monkey army or the Vanar Sena. And he felt a lot of love in his heart because he knew that whatever they were doing was a very difficult task. It was excruciating. It was difficult. It took months and months for them to do it. So Lord Rama had a heart full of gratitude for his soldiers. But suddenly something caught his attention. It was a little squirrel. Now, what was the squirrel doing? It was taking pebbles in its mouth, rolling in the sand, and then running up to the seashore and dropping those little pebbles in the water and taking a dip in the water and then coming back, again rolling into the sand, picking up the pebbles, again going up to the shore and dropping those little pebbles. Now, while the little squirrel was at its work, a monkey carrying a huge boulder, nearly stepped on the squirrel. And he just pulled himself back and said, "Hey, you little thing, what are you doing? Why did you come in my way? Don't you see we are doing something important here?" So the squirrel said, "Well, in that case, you should watch where you're going. You should watch your step. I am just doing my work." So the monkey got very angry because he was carrying a big boulder in his hand and he was a little tired and he didn't want to argue with that little creature. So he said, What work are you doing?" So the squirrel said, "Well, I'm helping Lord Rama to build a bridge across the ocean." So the monkey was like, "Oh my God, you think you can do that? And what are we doing then? We don't need your help. We are good enough. Thank you. Go back to your burrow and rest. We are there. We'll take care of the bridge." So the squirrel said, "No, brother, I want to help my Lord Rama, and you do your work and you let me do mine." So the monkey said, "Nothing doing. You're going to come in somebody's ways and then you're going to get killed and then Lord Rama will scold us. So you better go back. And I don't want to see you here anymore." But the little squirrel would not hear any of that. It was not scared of the monkey. It had a lot of self-worth. So it said, "All right, I'll be more careful, but I'll keep doing my work." So the squirrel again went to the seashore and picked up the pebbles. Now, when the monkey saw this, he was very angry. He was furious. He thought that the squirrel is being audacious. As being what? What is audacious? Someone who doesn't listen. Someone who's he did not like the fact that the little squirrel was not scared of it and his threats. So he just called all the monkeys and he said, "Oh, look at this little thing. It's going to help us build a bridge." And they all started laughing. Ha, ha, ha. And they all started making fun of the squirrel. But the little squirrel didn't feel bad. And it kept on doing what it was doing. So the monkey, he picked up the squirrel with its tail and flung it across the seashore, because in a fit of anger, sometimes we do crazy things when we are angry, don't we? Do we?
Yeah.
Who does it? I do.
We don't do
Raise your hands if you do crazy things when you're angry.
Sometimes.
Sometimes, yes, sometimes, but we all are guilty of that sometimes. Yes. So when he flung the squirrel, it cried out in pain and it cried out for Lord Rama. "Help me, Lord Rama." And when Lord Rama saw this, he held out his hands like this and he caught the squirrel. Lord Rama caught the squirrel and he started comforting the squirrel, because the squirrel was scared. It was frightened. It was not expecting the monkey to behave in this way. Lord Rama held the squirrel close to his heart and started patting it on its back like this, with love, with affection, with gratitude. It thanked the squirrel from the bottom of his heart. He said, "I am so thankful to you that you are helping me build a bridge across this mighty ocean." And he decided to give a little sound advice to his army. So he stood in front of the monkey army and said, "Do you think just because you are strong and you are powerful, you can ill-treat someone who is not?" He said, "Like you are all are helping me, this little squirrel is also trying to help me. How does it make the squirrel insignificant? For me, love and devotion is what counts. It doesn't matter how much you are doing for me. It is with what attitude you are doing. Do you have love in your heart when you're doing something? If you have love in your heart when you're doing something, that is enough for me. I don't want anything else." So he said, "I do not like this attitude. Please apologize." So the monkey also understood. The monkey knew that Lord Rama did not like this behavior. So they all hung their heads in shame because they had ridiculed the squirrel. They had made fun of it just because it was small. Now, do you know in Indian mythology, the story goes that the squirrels initially were all brown in color, but after Lord Rama held the squirrel and patted its back, the squirrel got 3 lines across its back, and those lines were the fingerprints of Lord Rama. I'll just share a picture with you so that you can appreciate that. Here. See, can you see the little squirrel in Lord Rama's hand? Yes, and when Lord Rama was patting the squirrel, it got the 3 stripes on its back, and it is said that from that day, all the squirrels have those 3 stripes, and those 3 stripes are the fingerprints of Lord Rama. Now, the story teaches us a beautiful lesson. The story teaches us that we may be small, we may be insignificant for others, but if we believe in ourselves and if we believe in our capabilities, then we can achieve whatever we wanted to. Though the monkeys were brave and strong, and then they had all the qualities of a soldier, something was missing. What was that? What was that one thing which was missing? Can someone tell me? What was missing? They had some weakness which made them react in this way. What was that weakness? Was it kindness? Did they do this as an act of kindness or as an act of anger and rage and whatnot?
Kindness.
They did it out of anger.
Kindness.
They did not do it out of kindness. They did it out of anger. They were that monkey who flung the little squirrel across the seashore. It was not kind. He did not have kindness in his heart. And Lord Rama did not like it. Lord Rama did not like it at all. So no matter where we are, we may be big or we may be small, but we must have a self-worth in us. If we have self-worth, then we can achieve whatever we want to in life. But like I told you, we all have certain weaknesses like anger. Sometimes we feel upset, and when we are upset, we tend to say unkind words. We are not polite then. Yes, and then later on we might just say sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have said it. I didn't mean it. But is that enough? After doing something nasty, if you just say sorry, oh, I'm sorry, is that enough? Would you like it if your friends said unkind words to you and then said sorry? Would you be their friend again? You don't like that. Okay, so I'm going to tell you another story that also teaches us a simple thing, how we can improve ourselves, how we can get rid of this feeling of anger, this jealousy, this rage that we feel, and try to improve. Now, I want you to help me in this a little. You have to name the characters of the story. So the story is not a mythological story, it's just a regular moral story. Once upon a time, there was a little boy. Let's give him a name. What? Anthony, you want to give a name to the boy?
Yes.
Okay, let me hear.
V-I-O-U-Y.
V-I-O-U-Y. Oh, that's quite a difficult word for me. Can you give me an easier name?
My name.
Can you give me an easier name for the boy?
Can I?
Okay.
John.
John. All right. Fair enough. Now, John was a boy who had an issue with his anger. He would just start saying nasty things to people, to his parents, to his younger sister, and to his friends. So everyone was fed up of John's tantrums. Every time he got angry, he would just say nasty words and then say, and afterwards come and apologize. Oh, I'm sorry, but I didn't mean it. Oh, I'm sorry, but I didn't mean to hurt you. I'm still your friend. Now that did not work well. Everyone was upset with him. They were dealing with his tantrums day in and day out, and they wanted something. They wanted to do something, to improve John. So mostly, who helps us to improve ourselves? To improve ourselves, mostly who does it? Our teachers do, or our parents try to counsel us? Yes. So parents, yes. So John's father, he decided that let me sort this boy. I'm going to teach him a lesson. So he told John that every time you get angry, he gave him a bag of nails, okay, and said, now look, John, every time you get angry, you have to take this nail, take a nail, go up to the attic, and there is a wooden trunk in the attic. So you have to hammer one nail into it. And you have to do that every time you get angry. So John said, all right, I can try that. Because he always used to say, oh, I want to improve, but what should I do? It's just my nature. I just get angry. I just cannot control my temper. So he said, fine, fair enough. I'll do that. So the first day, poor John, he had to hammer 30 nails into the wooden trunk. And it was difficult. He kept hammering and hammering. The attic was dark and it was gloomy and dreary, and John wanted to come out of it. He realized that being angry is not a good thing at all. So he thought, all right, the next day he decided I'll be less angry today so that I have to hammer few nails into it. I don't have to hammer so many nails. So like that, the days rolled and John tried to control his anger every single day. Slowly and slowly, a day came when John told his father, Father, I did not hammer any nails into the old trunk today. I didn't have to because I never got angry today. His father was very impressed. He said, is it true? He said, yes, now I don't get angry. I have learned how to control my temper. So his father said, well, in that case, since you have already hammered so many nails and spoiled the trunk, why don't you just take out those nails every day? So for one day, the day you don't get angry, go to the attic and pull out a nail from the trunk. Now that was also difficult because hammering the nail into a wooden log is easier, but to take it out is very difficult. So John, for every day that he controlled his anger, he had to climb up the attic, sit in the dreary old attic with a musty smell, and then he had to pull the nail out. So he did that for many days. And then he came down one day and he told his father that, you know what, today I'm not going to the attic because I have taken out all the nails from the trunk. Means that I have overcome this problem. I am no longer angry. Nothing can make me mad and I'm absolutely fine. Now I don't need to do I don't even need to be in that dreary room anymore. So his father said, well, let's go to the attic and see. So they went to the attic and his father held his hand and said, look, John, look at the trunk. It was a beautiful antique trunk. See what you have done to it. So there were so many holes in that trunk. It did not look beautiful at all. So John's father told him something very beautiful, which I'd like to share with you all. He said that whenever we are angry and we say unkind and unpleasant words to someone, it leaves a scar on their heart, just like these holes on the trunk. Now, that scar can never go away. No matter what you do, no matter how many times you apologize, that scar on a person's heart is never going to go away. So now you decide what you have to do. Do you want to leave scars on the hearts of people who love you so much? So that day, John realized how how his behavior was affecting everyone, his parents, his friends, and even his little sister. He felt very bad, and he decided that he's going to put an end to this problem. He made a promise to himself that he would never ever get angry, because the things we say in anger, we can never take the words back. People can forget, people never forget words. They just stay in their hearts forever, just like the scars on the wooden trunk. We don't want others to carry scars in their hearts because of us. Would we like to do that? That's not nice. And do you know something? The best gift that you can give to others, we all have this precious, priceless gift which we can share with others, and that is the gift of kindness. We all are living in difficult times. You know that. Yes, there are so many people who have lost their lives and who have lost their health. And there are so many people who have also lost their loved ones because of the pandemic situation. So can we do something? Can we contribute a little in making their lives better? Can we do that? Could we do that?
Yes.
How? How? How do we do that?
Helping the poor.
Sorry?
Helping the poor.
Oh, how sweet. Yes, by helping. And if we cannot really go out and help people, can we at least be kind to them? Can we give them the gift of kindness?
Yes.
Can we give them the gift of kindness?
Yes.
We can be friends with them.
We could be friends with them. Yes. See, we don't know how others are going, what all they're facing in their lives. We don't know what our friends are facing in their life. We don't know anything about it. Nobody tells. So the best gift is the gift of kindness, and we all can do that. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right.
Yes.
Sure. So tell me something. Now I'm going to ask you a question, and let me see how many people have really listened to the stories carefully. Let me see. Now it's a little quiz time for you. Aha. Who gave the divine fruit to Lord Shiva? Yes, Khyati?
Narada.
Yes, sage Narada gave the divine fruit. I think it was it an apple
No,
or an orange?
it
What was it?
mango.
It was a mango, yes. And
Mango.
who went on the divine peacock across the world 3 times? Who did that? What was his name?
Ardhika.
Lord Kartikeya.
Lord Kartikeya, yes. And what was Lord Ganesha's mount? An elephant?
No, a small little mouse.
A tiny little mouse.
Mouse.
Right. Means you were listening carefully. Great. Okay, tell me something. Who can tell me what is an epic now? What is an epic? Epic. Oh, the dance was epic. That movie was epic. We use this word these days, no? In a lot of sentences, no? This movie was epic. The dance was epic, but that's not the real meaning of epic. Epic is what is it? An epic is
Written still.
an epic is a poem. It's a
Written
story written in the form of a poem. And how many verses does our Ramayana have? The greatest epic written. How many verses does it have?
24,000.
Oh my God, you're so sweet. Very good. 24,000 verses. And who wrote it?
Saint Valmiki.
Absolutely correct. It was Valmiki who wrote the Ramayana. So see, why I wanted to tell you these stories is that I want to encourage you to read stories, to listen to stories. For as long as there are stories in this world, there is hope for a better tomorrow, for a better world. And I want all of you to give a gift of kindness, to give the gift of kindness to whoever comes in your life, be it your friends, your elders, your family members, or whoever. Could you all do that? Yes? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes,
And how do we overcome our weaknesses? Can someone tell me, how do we overcome our weaknesses? In one day. I can overcome my weaknesses in one day.
But
Can I do that? By setting small goals. Do you want to listen to a story of a soldier or a warrior who set a small goal for himself and achieved something big in life? Do you want to listen?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Shreya, do we have some time for the story?
Yes, we do.
Okay, great. So the story which I'm going to tell you now is from another epic, Mahabharata. Okay. Now, the kingdom of Hastinapur was ruled by King Pandu. After King Pandu died, it was ruled by Dhritarashtra. And the Pandavas and the Kauravas were the princes of this kingdom. The Pandavas were 5 and the Kauravas were 100. Now, don't tell me to tell you the 100 names because even I don't know. But I can surely tell you the names of the 5 Pandavas. Now, can anyone help me with the names of the Pandavas? Let me see how many of you know Indian mythology. I can tell you the first name, Yudhishthir. Yudhishthir, Bhim, Arjun, Nakul, and Sahadev. They were the 5 Pandavas. And the eldest of the Kauravas was Duryodhan. Now, all these princes used to learn warfare and archery and a lot of other things. And they used to go to a Gurukul where their teacher, Dronacharya, taught them these things, how to fight in a battlefield. Now, one day, Duryodhan, who was the eldest of the Kauravas, he told his friends, I think our teacher, Dronacharya, is very partial to the Pandavas and he's specially partial to Arjun. I don't think I really like my teacher so much. We all think that, no, that our teacher has a favorite and, oh, but my teacher is so bad. I don't like her because she doesn't like me. We all have done that sometimes, yes? But that was not the
My
case.
teacher, of course, has a favorite because she has a daughter that's in her class.
Oh, so that makes her the favorite. So, okay, they can have favorites, but it doesn't mean that they don't like us. We should have that self. What did I teach you? What should we have?
confidence.
Self-worth. If we have self-worth, no, I'm a good student and my teachers are going to like me, then I will not feel bad. Even if she's favoring someone, I will not feel bad about it because I have a sense of self-worth in me. So, when Dronacharya, the teacher Dronacharya, came to know this, he said, okay, let me put them through a test and let me see who is let these students see who is the best of all. So you know what he did? They were learning archery. The students were learning archery. Archery is what? The use of bow and arrow. Okay? Yes. So one day, Dronacharya, their teacher, he took a wooden bird and he put it on the branch of a tree and said, now stand in a line and one by one pick up your bows and arrows and aim at the bird's eye. Now, they were all good archers and it was not something difficult for them. So the first person to come and stand in the line was the eldest of the Pandavas. His name was Yudhishthir. So he stood up, he stood in the line and he picked up his bow and arrow and he took an aim at the bird. So the teacher Dronacharya said, hold on. First, you have to tell me, what do you see in front of you? So Yudhishthir said, Guruji, I can see the tree, I can see the bird, I can see the leaves on the trees, I can even see the birds on the trees, I can see the sky, I can see everything. So he said, okay, if you can see so many things, please put your bow and arrow down and stand on one side. So the next person he called was Duryodhan, who was the eldest of the Kauravas. So the Duryodhan thought that I'm going to add a few more things to it and I'm going to impress my teacher when he asks me. So the teacher said, so Duryodhan, what do you see in front of you? He said, Guruji, I can see so much more than what Yudhishthir did. I can even see the seashore. I can see the birds flying in the sky. I can see the little bird that you have, the wooden bird that you have put on the tree. I can see the fruits. I can see the other birds on the trees. I can see a nest. So he went on and he told 100 things which he could see. Dronacharya said, well, in that case, please put your bow and arrow down and stand on a side. So like that, everyone got chances and everyone would say different things they could see. At last, Dronacharya called Arjuna, whom everyone thought was his favorite student. So he said, okay, Arjun, stand here and look at your bow and arrow and take an aim. So Arjuna, he picked up his bow and arrow and he looked straight at the bird. Dronacharya asked Arjuna, what do you see, my dear? He said, Guruji, I see the eye of the bird. He said, are you sure? There are so many things around you. Can't you see the other birds and the trees and the fruits and the everything around you? He said, no. He didn't even look at his teacher. He kept looking at the eye of the bird. And he said, no, I don't see anything else. I only see the eye of the bird, because that was his goal. And when Dronacharya heard it, he was so happy. He said, you are the one who deserves to shoot an arrow. And when Arjuna shot his arrow, it hit the bird in its eye and the wooden bird fell, was knocked down to the ground. At that time, Dronacharya stood in front of all his students and said, look, you all feel that I favor Arjuna, but I have a reason to do so. You all are learning from me and you all want to be the best archer in the world. But to be able to do that, we need three things. We need determination, we need willpower, and we need concentration. The aim was the eye of the bird, but you all were able to see 100 things around you. Along with the eye of the bird, you would never ever achieve your goal like that. Arjuna became the greatest archer in the world. He was a brave soldier. And the reason why he became the greatest archer in the world was because he knew how to focus his attention on his goal. So the way we can achieve our goals, like I told you, we can make a small goal for ourselves, and then we should not allow the outside distractions to bother us. All the time, distractions will be there for us all the time. And especially when we are sitting and doing our homework or an assignment, then we remember, oh, I have to call my friend. Oh, I have to watch a movie. Oh, I have to be, I want to play with someone. But when we are playing, then we don't never think of doing our assignment, do we? Do we think of our assignments when we are playing and having fun? So we all can I never used to think about my assignments when I was playing and having fun. So the moral of the story, or the value this beautiful story teaches us, is that we all can overcome our weaknesses only if we make small goals and then focus on that goal and put all our heart and soul and our energies into it and achieve it. All can overcome all the difficulties in our lives if we do so. So I think that Shreya.
It's okay. Thank you, Miss Sonia, for the epic lesson.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful. It was a wonderful experience for me being with you all. And there is something which I want to tell you. Be safe. Take care of yourself. And I want that every day you should get 100 reasons to smile and appreciate all the blessings in your life. And if you can do that, that would be really the best gift you can give to yourself. Thank you so much for the wonderful session. God bless you all. Take care.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay,
Thank you, ma'am.
so I hope all of us learned
Bye.
something.
Bye.
Bye. I'll see you soon again.
Bye.
Bye.
Ma'am, when we will meet next.
What are you saying, baby? What?
Ma'am, when we will meet
When
next.
will we meet next? I will meet you whenever you want to meet me. We will meet soon.
Thank you. And
Hmm?
I also tell you once.
What? You want to say something? What do you want to say, guys?
And I will tell you story also for podcast.
Okay. Thank you everyone for connecting with me. I had a wonderful time with you all. You were a
Guys,
great audience.
Can we have like an end note here? So I hope all of us learned something from the characters from this story. At the Early Birds Club, our motive is to change our lifestyles by waking up early and doing activities that bring positivity into our routine, such as yoga and affirmations. Utilizing the day in such a way helps us to use and learn our knowledge in the most effective way possible, making us wise and energetic citizens in the future. So guys, what activities do you like in the EBC Kids? Does anyone want to volunteer? Okay. So, anyways, everybody is welcomed here. To connect with us, please visit our website at earlybirdsclub.org or email us at kids@earlybirdclub.org. You can also take a look at our Facebook page at Early Birds Kids. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you, Prisha. You were wonderful.
Thank you.